Welcome home to the Black Establishment. We are so excited to introduce this brand, this business, this organization that we've been building to y'all, where we invite you to be excellent, be exclusive, and be elevated. We'll start off with some introductions. I'll have Tama start off first as what I call you, our fearless leader. I know you don't like that title, but we'll have you start off by introducing yourself and then going a little bit into like, how did you think of this idea, this Black establishment? How did this come to mind for you?
Cool. Yeah, like Michelle mentioned, my name is Tama, also known as TJ by some people. I am originally from Atlanta, born and raised. This idea for the Black establishment kind of started in three different phases. I wanted to create something with my friends. I also wanted to create something for my family. And then I also wanted to create something for us, Black people. I think we all have experiences with Black owned businesses, but back in the day, they used to be called Black establishments, and they always had negative connotations. So, one of those experiences I was ordering my daughter some shoes. They told me it was ready. I went to go pick the shoes up. There was no shoes and no good service, really. It was just kind of like, oh, we ain't got them. You can call the other place, da da da. And I left and I was like, man, I hate Black establishments. And I was like, that's the name. Because I already had the idea for the business. I knew I wanted to do something with my friends. I just didn't know exactly what. But when I left, I was like, nope. I want a collective of my friends and a collective of Black professionals, business, creatives, artists to be able to network with each other and find community at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So you touched on it a little bit, like who are we, right? As we're building this, you talked about, community. We know that networking is a big part of it, but like, what do you envision this brand to be, and who are we establishing as the Black establishment?
Cool. So I think in term, we are definitely a membership community. So that membership community will look like if you think about, we'll say the gathering spot, and for those of us that are familiar with Soho House, so you have gathering spot, which is like an incubator of Black professionals. It's a co-working space. Think about Soho House. Nice, exclusive, luxurious. They have pools and bars. If you merge those two together, that's what our physical space will be.
Yeah.
So phase one will be all an online community where we'll have memberships similar to like a LinkedIn and or Facebook page. So I'm Tama Jones. I own and operate the Black Establishment. I also have another business called Consult Jones Collective. There'll be a profile with what products and services I offer, a brief description, how to get in contact with me, and you'll have a little emblem on your spot, on your page rather, that says, it'll either probably be this B. So if I reach out to you and your business, you know that we're part of the same community. And the hope is that you then are treated in a luxurious and a high quality manner.
Right. That elevation, right? That's a key part.
Yep.
So how did you choose to bring on board? You got a lot of friends, I'm sure. What made you bring my wonderful self and Chris's wonderful self on board?
Absolutely. I know that a lot of my friends are highly skilled, and we are highly skilled in different areas. I'm a very operations, process, streamline. I know you are very, you're going to hold it down for the people. It's going to be blackety black, 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 which we can't have an organization called the Black Establishment and not keep that in focus.
Yeah.
You're also brilliant. I've always like admired your mind and how you think, but it's very, very different from mine.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't always agree,
Right.
but I always respect like what you have to say, and I knew that we needed that element. Chris is my personal fashion person. I send all my outfits, my shoes. Yeah, because I mean, you can't be luxurious without looking good, but beyond looking good, also very, very intelligent, loves doing research, very thorough, very detail oriented. So these were all the things where like I know I'm great at producing ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an idea producer. I need good people that execute,
Mm-hmm.
and you all execute extremely well.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, Chris, we'll throw over to you, right? Like, introduce yourself. Tell us what your title within our organization is, and tell us a little bit about why you think the Black establishment is necessary, particularly in this point in time that we're all living in.
Okay. All right. So, hi guys. My name is Chris Brown. I am the Chief Marketing Officer for the Black Establishment. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And I think what better time than now? I think the Black Establishment is very, very necessary right now. Everyone knows of the systemic, racism and we're underrepresented in so many industries, and I think we're really building a community that allows people to show up as their authentic selves, really network and communicate with like-minded people, and really lean into each other and build that community. And I think that's what's really needed right now. I think we're filling a gap and allowing people to have exposure to things that they hadn't before. I know we're lacking in capital. I know we're lacking in a lot of areas where it's not allowing our businesses to grow. So I think we're just bridging that gap. And I'm really excited to network and partner with all of the Black establishment members that are going to join. And yeah, I think it's going to fill a great gap for us.
I think that's dope. You said one thing that, we talked about in our many meetings, but being that bridge, right? Like thinking about Black entrepreneurship and acknowledging the lack of resources and sometimes capital being one of those, but the idea of bridging the gap between some of those resources, other like-minded individuals is a core part of what we're building here. So as our chief marketing officer, right, we know that you manage the brand and we know you got the vibe. You look the part already, but like, what is the vibe that we want the Black establishment to like evoke in people? Like when people are coming to our events, when they are listening to some of our series and webinars that we're going to have, what's the vibe that we want people to feel from the Black establishment?
So I think one of the main things is empowerment. You know, the empowerment, the feeling of belonging, the trust, and just the exclusivity of our events. So I think altogether those terms is really just showing that we're not just a platform for people. We're more of a a movement, in that these are our core values. The vibe is really just authenticity, exclusiveness, elevation, empowerment, and again just community, and everyone coming together and being a team, and wanting to see everybody win.
Yeah, that's it. Right? That's the whole goal, right? When we think about wanting to, Tama, you mentioned reframing the idea of the Black establishment and it being associated with a negative thing, right? That's where the elevation comes in. That's where the exclusive comes in because we deserve that. The Black community, Black professionals, entrepreneurs, we deserve that. Yeah, yeah.
Well, Michelle, we haven't heard from you. So, Michelle, if you would introduce yourself to the people, let them know your title.
I can do
See
that.
what we got going on.
Hey, everybody. I'm Michelle. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am the Chief Communications Officer. So over like the messaging, work closely. Of course, we're the close-knit team, so it's only the three of us right now. But the idea is working. I kind of help to collaborate and really fine-tune like the message that we put out about our organization. So this video and this series being a part of that. One of the things that we talked about as establishing this brand is like, what do we want people to gain as from being a member of this organization, right? If we're making this a members only thing, what are the benefits? And I will say the biggest benefit is community, right? And I think that really is a concept that may seem kind of lost on some folks because I think we've lost the idea of community and what that really means. I remember, at some point, Tama and her wife had asked me to babysit their daughter, right? And they were talking about wanting to be intentional about the community that they build for their child. The same thing is necessary in all aspects of life. And one of the things that we're focusing on is establishing that community for Black, African American professionals, entrepreneurs, creatives to really sort of provide that home. And I think what we're doing here is really groundbreaking, right? And it has the power to shift the landscape, not only in our members' lives, but in the generations to come, right? Like if we can create a band with a body of entrepreneurs, then that's going to change the legacy of Black culture in this country. I think one of the things, like just quite tangibly, is access. Tama, you touched on this. Access to other business owners. If you're looking for a tax accountant, we have someone within house that has access that can do that for you. If you're looking for a tattoo artist, or if you're looking for an interior designer, whatever, access to other professionals is a key part of this. Chris and I had talked about the idea of an exclusive learning series, right? Workshops from these experts, from these subject matter experts that we have within the organization, where you can refine, learn new skills to help you better your own individual professional life. And I think on the other side, for the folks that are already established professionals and have, merchandise and apparel lines or whatever, the idea is that you get a niche market that you can serve your products to. If you're looking for a way to promote, you have a body of folks that is a unique target market that you have access to that everyone else won't. So those are kind of some of the benefits of the Black establishment. Did I leave anything out?
Yeah, I think the only thing that you left out is just being able to have fun, like, and being able, there's a time and a place. So there's times where, like, as entrepreneurs, as professionals, we're always introduced. My name is Tama. I'm a this, and that's great for certain parts. But sometimes you just want to be Tama and you want to just kind of hang out and kick it. And I think a lot of our events will absolutely target professionalism, networking, building, and elevating. But some of our events will also just kind of take your hair down, kick your feet up, have a good time, talk some shit, play some games, and just really, have a good time.
Yeah.
And not have to think about it. It's like off time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great point. No, that was just a great point. The fun part of it, I feel like the balance is really important. Being an entrepreneur is hard. Being a professional is hard. Being Black is hard.
Right.
So I think, just having a space that's safe and a space where people can just really just show up and feel free and have that freedom, I think is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that we were intentional about is like refining and detailing what our mission and vision for this organization is. Tama kind of already touched on the phases that we're in, and I'm going to ask you to touch on that a little bit more, Tama. But like the mission of the Black establishment is to empower professionals to thrive and succeed by harnessing the power of connection, excellence, and elevation. And I think I should touch on that elevation a little bit more, because the idea that when we say that, and the same thing with the exclusive, right? The idea is that Black people deserve something that is exclusively ours. And, we'll touch on this in some of the videos to come, but the idea of creating a community and being fiercely protective of it, but then the elevated experience is what we want to sort of hone in right now. The idea that when we're bringing people into this network, even if you have an established organization, a business that you're running, we want to provide some benefit, whether it be the network, whether it be the fun place to let your hair down, whether it be the refining of skills or the promotion of your services to help elevate your brand in some way, right? And that's the key part. So the idea is that you may already have something going and you might think, well, I don't need this. But again, really thinking about the benefits of community that have gone under, kind of gone for granted, been taken for granted for a while, and bringing that back into the picture. So as we are introducing the brand, you mentioned phase 1, phase 2. Let's flesh that out a little bit more. So we're in phase 1 now.
Yep.
What does that mean?
So phase 1, really kind of just getting it off the ground. And off the ground looks like building a network, building a following, learning who our members will be. So in these first couple of months, we'll have a lot of free events just to kind of get our name out there, figure out who's out there, and also kind of hear from the people what they want to see from us. Because we have this idea of like professionalism and networking, but it may be something else that we're not necessarily thinking of. So as we have these events, we'll learn that from our potential members. Also a part of phase 1, that online membership community. So that'll happen within the first year or so.
Yeah.
So we'll have a platform online where you'll be able to sign up, pay a small monthly fee. I think that's one of the big things for me. I don't want to pay $200-$300 for something that I might not access all the time.
Right.
But I can pay $50
Yeah.
and have these robust benefits whenever I want to tap in, and I don't feel absolutely obligated to do something every month. That's pretty much phase 1.
Mm-hmm.
Online platform, memberships, mixers, events. And then we'll culminate each year with like a big fundraising event. And that fundraising event will look like, and those proceeds will go towards what we're talking about in phase 2. So phase 2 will definitely be that physical space. And so that physical space will house a stage for people who need to put on conferences or have any type of events. It'll have an event space. It'll have a bar. It will have a exercise place so you can come as a member and come exercise. It won't have a ton of co-working spaces. And we'll have a limited amount if you want to come and work. But this space is more so that you have a home or a community where you can have your own events and where you can hang out.
Yeah.
So like you can come first serve on a co-working basis and come like do some work, pop in a phone booth or do something like that. But this is more so those after hours spaces.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Absolutely. So I think the thing that we can kind of close out this first video with is really kind of telling you who we are, right? And we've given you how the Black establishment came to be, how we were brought on board. You kind of have a little insight into our little business plan and where we are. I can't give y'all too much information right now, but Tama did a great job at scaffolding it out and so that you know what's to come. And as usual, we just want to let you all know to always be excellent.
Be elevated.
And be exclusive.
And thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.